We're playing Harmonic Prodigy. Well, consider this your trigger warning. I'll show myself out. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And today we are playing a pretty weird-looking Izzet Prowess deck from Michael. Michael wanted to build around Harmonic Prodigy, which is an interesting card that is quite powerful. So, it's got prowess, so it can get bigger on its own. But more importantly, if an ability of a shaman or another wizard you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So at a surface level, if you have two Harmonic Prodigies, they can double each other's prowess triggers. That's probably not good enough for Legacy. But what if we double up on Surveil triggers? Turning on the Delirium for DRC very quickly and almost always making it so we draw a card that we want to draw. What if we get double triggers off of Slickshot Show-Off and kill our opponents incredibly quickly? Well, maybe this can be something. This is a deck that has interesting construction, and I'm a little concerned about it. We are on 16 lands here, which means that... Okay, let me rephrase this. For a Izzet Delver deck, I may be expecting something more like 19 lands, and we have 4 Lotus Petals instead. The reason why is because this is very much a Prowess and Surveil deck, so this is a very, very intentional choice. But it does mean that occasionally we're going to look at Lotus Petal Ponder opening hands and go are we keeping that, or is this too sketch? I'm a little concerned that we don't have Murktide Regent in the deck. It seems like maximizing Surveil value makes me want to shove a couple of Murktides in here to round out the deck. And I'm not really sure that these two cards are just better than things that we already see in the Izzet Tempo archetype. Anything that's seeing play here has to compete with Murktide Regent and Kori Steelcutter, both of which are rather impressive cards. So I am not entirely sure whether or not I'm going to end up being happy with, let's call them Slick and Harmonic Prodigy. I'm not going to adjust the main deck here, because I think if I adjust the main deck, I will just end up building something very, very close to a stock Izzet Tempo deck. So we're going to try the main deck as is. As far as the sideboard goes, I've made 2 changes. I have added 2 Rough Tumbles to the deck. Oh, maybe it can't even be Rough Tumble. I might need to change it into something else. So, energy is a thing right now. And the drone tokens from Pinnacle Emissary, which do have flying, are also a thing. I need some sort of sweeper, I think, to keep up with those decks. And Pyroclasm is going to kill Slickshot Show-Off, whereas Rough Tumble doesn't. Pyroclasm misses Harmonic Prodigy. Pyroclasm may or may not kill DRC. Does it have to be just Pyroclasm? There's ones that do 1 damage that are totally fine. I can't think of a 2 damage non-symmetrical one off the top of my head. Let's make them Pyroclasms. I think current Legacy requires you to do something to respect the go-wide creature decks. And I'm seeing more Toxic Deluge and Terminus and those sorts of cards in current Legacy than I have in quite some time. The energy decks don't get to just get away with it for free anymore. So let's just kind of jump into a league, play some good old blue cards, and see how it feels. And folks, should you need any Magic the Gathering cards, please consider getting them from my sponsor, toamagic.com. I recently got a Commander deck from them, and I'm very, very happy with it. And I am looking forward to trying that out at MagicCon Vegas in the coming months. So with that being said, let's battle. Alrighty, opening hand doesn't have a threat. I'm not down for this entirely reactive hand. What does this do? Be sketchy, hopefully do something cool with Slickshot Show-Off. Do I really want to just YOLO turn 1? I could not keep Force of Will and keep the second land, and then just go land, Lotus Petal, this thing, ponder, go. with no backup. Maybe that's right. Lean into the YOLO. Boomerang Basics is fine. Guess I will play this land this turn. I'll cast this and start attempting to do crimes. I will ponder immediately. Yeah! Bam, bam, bam. There's Bobble. You know, if everything goes right and there's no removal spell, this is just 7 damage on turn 1. Which is pretty damn aggressive. My god, we actually connected. Bowmaster exists. I'm going to just crack this. I could try to play chicken with the fetch land for surveil purposes. Oh god. Please fetch that away. Cool. I know what I'm playing against, and Boomerang Basics is perhaps not enough to stop my opponent. Redraw Force of Will, please. Dang. It was the ponder we already knew about. Okay, it is stock up rather than show and tell. That's good. I wonder if there was any line where I don't actually crack the bobble. I redraw the ponder and then I Boomerang Basics the bobble. But draw another card that way before I sack bobble. Unsure, worth thinking about. So let's ponder and trigger this. Daze. My opponent might just naturally play around a daze. I'm going to try to do better than that. Failed at doing better than that. In for 3. Opponent to 9. I now want the Force of Will that is on the bottom of my library. Ooh. So we are going to be like the big jeweled lotus nonsense then. Yes. It is the One Ring. That is quite bad. That's a fog that is going to draw a lot of cards, and my opponent did play that around a daze, so I'm glad that I shuffled that away. Yeah. I will surveil. I'll say no to that land. What do we think about Boomerang Basics? Am I holding that? This is a sorcery. Got kind of a weird line here, where I can bounce this back to my hand. I think I will take that line. I just do this to surveil. I don't really want to bounce my opponent's stuff as of right now. So that is not paired with a blue card. I will just send that to graveyard. That turns this into a 3/3. What's my artifact hate? It's not Null Rod. It's Meltdown. Consign's real good, though. Force of Negation's real good. Misdirection. Okay. You're gonna bounce your One Ring. You're gonna bounce your Lotus Petal. What did you just pitch? A stock up? Okay. You are allowed to do that. Opponent down to 8. I only have 4 showing. The One Ring is 2 more of that, assuming another one isn't played. This could make sense if it's like a Paradox Engine, and then my opponent needs the Lotus Petal to kick things off. Wild. So, if you haven't seen this before, whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. So the idea here is that you float mana, play something, untap the One Ring, tap the One Ring, draw something, and then this combination right here allows you to go through your entire deck. There is a Phyrexian Metamorph, which honestly might just copy a Grim Monolith here. Alright, it is copying the One Ring, so my opponent gets that protection. They're just stopping? What? That's kind of wild. I expected to be fully dead there. Okay. So my opponent has protection from everything from Phyrexian Metamorph, so I don't need to swing in or anything. Although the DRC has to just swing in. That is obligatory. No damage, as you can see. Opponent does not tap the One Ring. Now they're going to draw their card. I thought I was dead last turn. My opponent now has 1 more card. There is a Transmute Artifact, which I imagine is going to change the One Ring into a Coveted Jewel. Alright, I am correct. My opponent's got a bunch of cards. They had about this many cards last turn. Now all this copy artifact nonsense is going to start happening. Copying Coveted Jewels. There's a new One Ring. I'm just going to let my opponent do their thing. I'm now just going to F6 and let them play with themselves for a minute until I either die or get another turn and maybe kill them with a lightning bolt in their upkeep. Okay, we have reached the point where an Emrakul happens, and at that point I am fine conceding. I am bored enough. my opponent, like, at this point, can just copy the One Ring and then not take any damage in upkeep and easily dispatch me. Alright, let's get some Consigns and Force of Negations and maybe Pyroblasts in here. I don't think I'm super interested in the other stuff. Bolts probably go. The Harmonic Prodigies that don't stand well on their own probably go. What about Boomerang basics? I might just need to keep some number of those simply because they are blue and pitch 2 force effects. Okay. Opening hand doesn't really do anything currently, but has a couple of counter spells. I did not mean to click on that land. I was trying to rearrange my cards. It's fine. It's supposed to be a volcanic island there, though. So I can play DRC without fetching if I happen to top deck one. Nope, it's all volcanic islands here all the time. I think since I have so many lands, I will just do this here. Okay. These 2 mana threats are quite bad right now. These are also not blue cards, so they don't pitch to Force of Will, meaning that I only have 1 counterspell currently, not 2. Pretty bad. I'm going to let that go. Going after payoff cards here. That's fine. End of turn, I will Surveil. Too much mana. Alright, now I have 2 different counterspells. This is going to be a pretty sad Slickshot Show-Off. I have no cantrips or baubles or anything to grow it. But hopefully having 2 of them at the same time next turn ends up being crazy. Opponent has so much mana. Guess I have to counterspell that. I will Force of Will that. I don't get to use this for offensive damage, unfortunately. And if opponent can counterspell back, I am in a lot of trouble because Consign does not counter Force of Will. It is a misdirection. Yep. So, Force of Will's target is changed to not Barrowgoyf, and we are sad. I will Surveil with our second Surveil land. I do have a couple copies of Boomerang Basics. I'd rather not. Alright. That is all 4 of them. I think I just let it punch me in the mouth. I think I hold this up, though. I don't think I can drop Consign. My opponent just has the mana to hardcast the One Ring and whatnot. I think I just let that gain 4 to 8 life and hope that 3 of these things together with like 1 cantrip that strings into other cantrips just outright kills my opponent. Because my opponent shouldn't have all that many hits. Like, the scariest thing is Phyrexian Metaphor, which just copies Barrowgoyf, which did happen. I don't think I am supposed to consign that trigger. Oh, great. Yep. Well, I sure hope that I kill my opponent next turn. Otherwise, gain 15. Like, I can hit for 9. Wait, can I do better by consigning my own thing? So I cast this. This is 3 base power. I can add 12, 13, 14, 15. Be 1 short. So I need to hit my opponent for 2, bring them to 14, chump block 1 of these, and then deal 30-something next turn. Okay. I don't realistically see that happening. Barrowgoyf's in. I chump block 1 of them. Opponent gets 2 triggers there. The first one's a miss. Milling 3 copies of the One Ring. Second one gets another Metamorph, which opponent should use to copy a flyer, not another Barrowgoyf. Opponent picks up the Barrowgoyf, which feels wrong to me. Like, the only way I possibly win is by dealing 30, and having a flyer feels like it just really helps out with that. But we have fully whiffed, no cantrips here. Very dead to 4 Barrowgoyfs. GG's, we're not beating that. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Opening hand here is fine. I really need the threat before I deploy things that look like this, though, or I give up a lot of value. I think it just is what it is. Alright. It's Harmonic Prodigy. I guess I'm just cashing this in, seeing what you're doing. Is that a power plant? The fucking power plant. You don't see that every day. And I think I hold Petal since it can trigger Prowess. Stormchaser's Talent. Candelabra. I'm gonna let that resolve. It's a fine card. It's not scary yet. It certainly will be scary later. Well, we're gonna put some threats into play. There's an Otter. There's a Harmonic Prodigy. The Otter is, unfortunately, just an Otter. It has no class levels in Shaman or Wizard, so no buffs from Harmonic Prodigy. And I get to Force of Will one thing while Lightning Bolting my opponent's face, and if I draw some lands, we can maybe Stormchaser's Talent back a Force of Will or a Lightning Bolt later to help us out a little bit more. That is another power plant. That is a Grim Monolith. I think I just say yes to that. That card is not scary yet. Okay. Let's start trying to do some crimes here. Let's always yield to some prowess creatures. Boomerang basics. Fascinating. I think I go put back 1 and 2. Mishra's Bauble, double trigger prowess. Let's take a look at what you're going to draw. That is a Kozilek's command. I don't love that. Let's just get this Boomerang basics out, or sorry, this Grim Monolith out of play. Make my opponent recast it. Swing in for 8. Very reasonable. I get 1 redraw here. And I know that I can re-trigger Prowess the following turn. So my opponent now has Planar Nexus, which means that these make big mana. This is 7 mana. We could get some awful on-cast trigger here. Grim Monolith, up to 8. We'll Force of Will the shit out of Kozilek's command. Let me tell you. It's Kozilek's command. Force of Will, Junking Brainstorm. This gets me through this turn. Let's try to make this turn as good as we can. I might not get another return. Yeah. Bobble. What are you drawing? Karn. So I have, with Prowess, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 of 12. Oh, that doesn't do it. And the top of my deck is bad. Thanks, I hate it. I think that means that I don't go for it here. Yeah, literal 1 point of damage off. Not great. I will hold Lightning Bolt because it can potentially interact with, like, Karn Mycosynth Lattice or something. There's Karn. Opponent untaps all their cool lands. There's the Tutor. There's Lattice. There's Lightning Bolt. Goodbye, Karn. So my opponent still has 3 cards and a gajillion D mana. This is 4 mana to activate. Pretty sure I'm still on the wrong side of things, even though I bought myself a turn here. Opponent's at 4. Even more big mana available. And Signed to Memories in the sideboard looking hot today. 19 mana casually. Just looping Emrakul, why don't you? GG. Alright, Consigns in. Force a Negation in. Rest of the stuff I don't really care about. The Lightning Bolt thing just came up. I don't know how frequently that is actually going to matter. I imagine that, again, we go down on red cards because pitching 2 Force of Will is so important. I'm not sure if we keep 2 Lightning Bolts or 2 Harmonic Prodigies. It may be that at 8 threats, well, I guess 9, 10, 11 with Stormchaser's Talent, I should actually keep a couple of Harmonic Prodigies. We have great cards for the matchup in our hand. Unfortunately, no mana. This is totally fine. I will keep this and pitch 1 land. I need an early threat in this matchup because my opponent's endgame is so much stronger than my endgame. If I don't lead on a threat on either turn 1 or turn 2, I suspect that my opponent wins 90% of those games or something crazy like that. We have Ponder for days. You can go straight to Graveyard, help grow DRC. I I want to cast this card, so I don't know. I guess I could do this and intend on casting 2 different Ponders. Okay. So I will then fetch. We've got 3 card types in graveyard. I'd like to surveil another one here. Nope, we are getting land. Yes. This now mostly becomes, do I want to draw and cast Slickshot Show-Off next turn? I think I'm fine with that. Let's stack Consign on bottom and do this. This is just punchies for 1. Planar Nexus. That's not great for us. Yeah. We don't have Wastelands, by the way. With my opponent already having 4 mana on 2 lands, and I don't have Wastelands to disrupt, I think I just let the candle go. Activated abilities only? Yeah. All day. Opponent has named Scalding Tarn and now is playing a Trinisphere. I will say no to that. Let's Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. I think I need this for the oomph. So the goal is to now use Force of Will to make it through this turn, Consign to make it through the following turn, and then hopefully find a cantrip that lets me ramp up the damage. If I don't have to Force of Will miraculously in this turn cycle, I can Ponder. Oh my gosh, I didn't have to. Nice. Second main phase hipster. I'm wrong. Force of Will. Trigger. I think I just keep Consign on top. Cool. Opponent did not have another payoff immediately. In for 4. There's real tension in the deck design because I want to cast a bunch of spells on my opponent's turn, and that doesn't add to damage from this card. Is not fantastic. Absolutely not to the land. Sack this. Candle coming, that's fine. Ah, fuck. Candle Urza Saga is annoying. Hopefully my opponent just dies. I don't need much. Okay. Do I just consign the Urza Saga trigger here? I don't think so. These don't have haste, and I hopefully kill my opponent next turn. I think it's just more important for me to answer like a One Ring or a Kozilek's command that is more immediately threatening. All right, we are chilling. So land drop, doesn't have flash or anything. I will just Boomerang basics that out of play so that I have lethal. Feels like I got lucky there. My opponent just kind of bottomed out and didn't have payoff. If I didn't have this threat, my opponent can go Urza Saga, untap Urza Saga, activate it 2 more times on their turn, and just have an instant army and a can off of the candle. Not having Wasteland is very problematic in this specific matchup. Okay, my opening hand is fine. That's all that it is. Ooh. I think I upgrade my opening hand to full on good there. I think I do cast this immediately, even if it means dropping Consign. Again, I want this early aggression because my opponent's endgame is so scary. Trinisphere. Kind of sick person would enjoy playing that card. Couldn't. Who am I kidding? I love me a Trinisphere. Nice. Scary card. That can shut off a Scalding Tarn, which is relevant here. I think I just let my opponent have it. Like, if I want, I can Boomerang basics that out of play and then fetch with Scalding Tarn. Oh, they went with Bobble. Okay. Sure. Do I just bounce it out of play? Kind of just want to cast Ponder and then Boomerang basics can pitch to Force a Negation. Yeah. Talent this turn? Yes. Land drop. Talent. Prowess thingy. In for 5. Opponent to 12. We let the Urza Saga token tick up. This is not Urzatron assembled. Monolith is fine, I think. That one is a lot less fine. I think I will force... Opponent is effectively at 10. For each spell I play, I get 3 damage. So Boomerang Basics seems fine to just cast, because I have Ponder on top. So Boomerang Basics, Stormchaser's Talent, Prowess triggers, return that to hand, Stormchaser's Talent, make a friend, fetch another Volcanic Island, This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I do want to both ponder and daze. Let's hold priority. Ask, ponder. Triggers. Then this daze is the last damage that I need. I have lethal. And that lag burst means that we win. I have not seen a Sorceress Spyglass in play in a long time. I wonder if that's actually good. GG's. As long as I don't actually need to interact with my opponent, this hand is hyper aggressive and can do some cool stuff. There will be some question as to like what order I play Stormchaser Talon and DRC in, or like maximizing prowess damage versus maximizing putting things into the graveyard. Misty Rainforest Gamer. Turn 1 on the play, sorcery speed Brainstorm? Wild. That's usually not correct unless opponent is playing a combo deck that can threaten to kill me this turn. Given that information, I'll probably play DRC first. If I survive an untap, that lets me dig for counter spells, which I think is what I am currently looking for. Am I scared enough that I ponder this turn? I think so. Like, this is either a really bad misplay or I'm almost dead. Nope. Shuffle. Alright, we did not find a counterspell, unfortunately. I got otters, though. New cantrip. Shuffle. Alright. Cool. I like it when my opponent misses their land drop. However, I do not have Wasteland to punish this. I think I'm going to go ahead and deploy a threat here. Do I hold open Brainstorm? I think I'm going to do another one of these after my opponent misses their land drop. Land can go to yard. It's possible I die for this decision, but if I don't die, the upside is so massive. There's another Brainstorm. Basic Forest. Alright. Basic Forest is a little weird. You a second main phase hipster? You got something else? Oh, this is now weird. I maximize damage by going Slickshot Show-Off, Mishra's Bauble, Brainstorm, and try to have that Brainstorm hit counter magic to protect this stuff. I don't think I am optimizing for damage here. I think I'm going to cast a Brainstorm first and just kind of surveil. I will take a daze. Always yield to prowess. Hell yeah. I think I will put back land and the Slickshot. I could play the Slickshot now. Bam, bam, bam. That's my interaction. And Otter's fine, though. I will go land drop, fetch. I will bobble now. Artifact will be the last card type I need going to graveyard. Brainstorm's fine. Boomerang basics. A Stormchaser's talent. Brainstorm is fine. Draw set Brainstorm. Replay Stormchaser's talent. Lotus Petal can go to graveyard. I had an artifact anyway to grow this to a 3/3. At some point in here, I could have looked at what my opponent's top card is with Bobble. Send in. Opponent goes to 11. Take a look-see. Alright, yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. So we are probably doing show and tell things over there. And I have double days Force of Will for that, which is a-okay with me. You can do that. I may end up dazing my own spells next turn for Lethal Prowess. I imagine that I can get 11 damage next turn. GG. So, we are playing against presumably Show and Tell. Basic Forest's a little weird there, though. I think I am boarding in these cards. And we're looking at Harmonic Prodigy and Lightning Bolt again. Where did I settle on those before? / do I want to do it the same way now? It almost feels like with this Otter, I can just Lightning Bolt over Harmonic Prodigy, but I am very threat light. So I think I want the Lightning Bolt, but I need the Prodigy. This is mid. I think I keep it. Daze is a cool card to potentially buy sometime. Yep. I can play a Mountain if I want to dodge that for a turn at the cost of not being able to daze. They both kind of deny 1 mana if you squint at it funny. I think with triple cantrip here, I just give my opponent the mana. I think it's different if I have a Force of Will. I'm just going to say no to Brainstorm. I have plenty of cantrips to chain into each other already. I think I am looking for a hard counter spell. This Daze is not going to be very good this game with Carpet around. Tropical Island. Stock Up is a good Magic the Gathering card. I'm not going to counter it because I want to get this into play. The games that I see myself winning involve me resolving the Slickshot, getting a turn, funneling a bunch of cantrips together, and then setting up 2 counterspells. Probably 2 non-Daze counterspells. So now the next question is, do I play Mountain when I have a whole bunch of cantrips in hand? Slash, do I just have to do other things this turn other than the Slickshot Show-Off? I could Brainstorm rather than Ponder. Try to fetch away some things. Huh. Alright. That's weird. Yeah. 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 Now I can ponder and shuffle away those lands while attempting to look for a hard counterspell. Very awkward if, like, the third card down there is the hard counterspell. Slickshot gets in for 5 immediately. I'm only giving my opponent 1 with Carpet of Flowers. The Daze thing is slightly awkward here. So this is the 4th mana, so Show and Tell around Daze is live. That's fine. Did my opponent play that land? So my opponent chose to play that land prior to Ponder. Yes. They did not leave themselves the opportunity to, like, Ponder Shuffle. 4 mana. I Daze it. I Daze the shit out of it. Yeah. Slickshot Show-Off triggers, but whatever. Alright, fantastic. I was not expecting to get a lot of value off of that card. So this is the turn where playing the Mountain is awkward, right? Because now I can't cantrip this turn, and I have to instead do this. And on the following turns, it's harder to multi-spell. The Mountain comes at a very, very real cost here. That can just go to graveyard. I don't need another threat for the remainder of the game. Stuff that I have in play is fine. This is 4 damage on the surface, but I probably play 2 to 3 spells next turn. It's likely that my opponent is on a 2-turn clock, but, like, Show and Tell is a thing, Allurin is a thing. I imagine that I'm favored if I untap. There is the fetch, which scares me. Yeah, Ancient Tomb goes away. There is Formidable Speaker. So this is a tutor or a Sararak for the Allurin combo, or just an Emrakul or a Traxa or whatever for the Show and Tell side of the deck. Alright, and it is a Traxa that is tutored for. Well, let's try to do some crimes. Slickshot Show-Off is going to get bigger. I don't need that. Force of Negation should be fine. I think I need to draw that now so that I can fetch and play Ponder. This Mountain means that I can't just, like, play these baubles as well. So, fetch. Volk. I think playing Ponder is better than Stormchaser's talent here. I have, like, Pyroblast I can hit. Boomerang Basics. Not castable off Mountain. I think I just say no to that. Hitting for 8. DRC pretty much guarantees a kill next turn. I think I am going to call that good enough. Yeah. So now I have Force of Negation for Allurin or Show and Tell. And for the 8, we've already talked about. I know one of my opponent's cards is Atraxa. There's a couple unknowns, so the worry is something like Show and Tell, Atraxa, Veil of Summer. Didn't happen. We got lucky. GG's. Alright, our opponent has revealed a Yorion Companion. My hand is fine. I can Force of Will something, play DRC, trigger immediately with Bobble, and try to follow it up with Slickshot Show-Off. If opponent is playing a D&T style Yorion deck, their endgame will dominate us. And if they're playing a blue Yorion pile, their endgame will be better than ours, but the gap is smaller. Basic Swamp. Thoughtseize resolves. Taking the Brainstorm here also temporarily takes the Force of Will. Opponent just takes my DRC, though. That's an okay draw. I think I need to cash this in, immediately fishing for a land. Yeah. Lion Sash. Alright. D&T style deck confirmed. And I think because Orcish Bowmasters exists, I'm just going to fire this now. Okay, I will be hitting land. Okay, I'm going to do it. Brainstorm 2 down, hide this on top so it can't be taken by a Thoughtseize. And call it good there. I would prefer not to Force of Will something immediately. Oh, right. The thing that I would want to hide from Thoughtseize, I would actually need 2 down. Whoops, forgot about Bobble. Windmills? Windmills. Hey, the exact thing that I tried to do and failed at. Yes. Brainstorm's a good Magic the Gathering card. We will just cast that if we lose the Slickshot. Vial. Yes. Let's try to fix this hand. Totally fine. Put back. UU? DRC immediately? Yeah. And then use Petal when it also represents damage. This Aether Vial is a long-term nuisance, but by holding Force of Will, I make it so that my opponent can't cast anything in the short term. And opponent is chilling. Opponent is a second main phase hipster. Opponent is chilling, opponent is chilling. Cool. Cast. Yeah. Means that if they Force of Will something after this resolves, I actually get damage out of it, which is cool. Always yield to that. I will just send that to graveyard. Fine going in for punchies with both. And calling it there. Vial can tick up. I know that my opponent has a Lion Sash coming. I can Lotus Petal that on my own turn. Or rather, Lotus Petal into Lightning Bolt. I don't think has to happen. I can wait to untap and just kill it with a Volk and Lightning Bolt on my own turn. Alright, second main phase hipster. I will Force of Will that card. Sure. Orcish Bowmasters. That's an annoying card. I maybe just try to Lightning Bolt that now. And make it so that this creature lives. I have Artifact and Instant. Any land does it. I have Artifact, Instant, Creature. Any land does it. Any sorcery does it. Okay. In any land does it. 3/3. The 1 damage gets marked, but I save my creatures. And now I'm just looking for like some cantrip to do a whole bunch of damage with Slickshot Show-Off before my opponent's more expensive, dirtily cards get online. That's a cantrip. Opponent has 2 cards remaining. Let's try to have a good turn. 3 spells would be ideal. Brainstorm's fine. Bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. Brainstorm. I could have done that Brainstorm better. I think I'll still junk this. Okay. I'm hitting for 8. Lightning Bolt is 9, 10, 11 next turn. Put back 1 and 2. Thank you for your service, Harmonic Prodigy. In. Opponent to 3 with Lightning Bolt on top of deck. Vial also to 3. So what sort of crimes you got? I'm not going to cast this Lightning Bolt immediately. I'm going to see if my opponent reacts. Vial on 3. Getting Recruiter of the Guard. Presumably getting Solitude. Getting Solitude. There goes the Lion Sash from earlier in the game. Opponent will remove this. There's the Evoke. I'll send the Bolt at face here now. We'll still get to Surveil this way. Harmonic Prodigy on top is kind of whatever. Alright, fantastic. GG. Very happy to win game 1. This is going to be a very, very tough matchup. And, like, my sideboard options are very, very minimal here. I'm going to take Pyroclasm. It helps me clear out Orcish Bowmasters and all of my opponent's nonsense creatures. I might trim a couple of Dazes. This game, in theory, could go long enough that maybe Harmonic Prodigy does something. That card has not been good today. It's been sideboarded out very, very frequently. And a lot of times we are just killing before it's relevant because of how aggressive Slickshot Show-Off can be and how aggressive the Prowess things can be. Prodigy doesn't contribute to the Otters, which is also just some deck building awkwardness. Okay, I'm going to assume that this hand is fine. Basic Plains, pass turn. Don't wasteland me. I think I am into DRC immediately and try to surveil for my next land. Harmonic Prodigy can go away. I think I just brainstorm as well because Bowmasters is a thing, despite this awkwardness of resources. That can go away. I just need to hit the next land drop. Haha, fuck me. I can surveil one of these cards, multiple of these cards away, maybe? Land, creature, artifact, instant. DRC is already a 3/3. Let's put back 1, 2, do this, do that, hold this one. And then I've just kind of naturally played around Bowmasters a little bit. Kind of. I have made it so that, like, the brainstorm blowouts will not happen. Yeah. That makes it harder to just tap out for this. I might still be doing it anyway. Okay, cool. That's fine. I think I'm not going to bolt that immediately. I think this is just damage a clock. Harmonic Prodigy is not castable. Goodbye. In for 6. On into 14. I think I just let them ping me. Okay, alright. They're not going to have that in hand when I do this draw. Third Bowmaster? Not third Bowmaster. So the Arc Army token doesn't block my flying creatures, which is why I think I'm willing to just do this. I know that my opponent has another one coming, though. Yep. Goodbye, Volcanic Island. And my opponent can just do that now. I'll take 1 and then another 4. I am at 12. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That feels good. I'll just say no to that. That's not a land. I'm going to hit for 8 here. Bolt Face is an option. That's 11 of it gone. I think I just bounce this token. Just use that as a way to surveil to the next land, which lets me cast the Lightning Bolt. Beautiful. Scripted match. So there's 8 of the damage. Opponent goes to 6. And then I cast a lethal Lightning Bolt next turn with Force of Will backup. So basically, if something doesn't touch my DRC, I ignore it. That does not touch my DRC, I ignore it. Sometimes this finds a Solitude, which does. But, you know, the Solitude could have been in hand already. And if I go after the Overlord and my opponent has a, you know, land, Swords to Plowshares or Solitude white card already, it's very awkward for me. They should remove on their own turn so that it doesn't turn into damage for Slickshot Show-Off. And they do. And I will Force of Will that. I want to keep that. Go to 3. Nope. Those Bowmasters should have attacked, I believe. I think that's just missed damage. In. No blocks. Bolt Face. Making it look easy to beat Death and Taxes. Land can go to graveyard. We are done here. We 2-0'd a matchup that I would expect to usually lose. The endgame of this deck is so strong, and the endgame just fully didn't get online here. We have a guaranteed positive record in the league at this stage. GG. Final round? Final round. Hand is weird. I do a tapped land. I have Stormchaser's Talent plus Boomerang Basics and Slickshot Show-Off plus Harmonic Prodigy. I am not entirely sure that this is better than mulliganing, because I'm taking turn 1 off and because I'm not guaranteed to hit a land drop when I like Boomerang Basics and stuff here. I'm just going to ship this. Yes. I'm going to play this hand wrong. I have not lined this up the entire league. I'm going to try to line that up. This is absolutely the wrong decision. Unquestionably the wrong decision. I have 1 land here. I should not keep 2 2-drops. Or the people. We will intentionally make the wrong play and attempt to do the thing. Which one do I play on 1? I think I play Slickshot Show-Off on 1. This means that it gets removed, but if I miss the land drop, I will daze here. Yeah. Anyway, if I miss the land drop, I can still just ponder and get a bunch of damage with this, so it's fine. What did that pitch? Brainstorm? Brainstorm. In for 1, Little Bird Wizard. Opponent to 18. Basic Forest, might be Show and Tell again. Ooh. I'll take the thing that helps me make my next cantrip better. Shaman, Wizard. Shaman, Wizard. The dream? Burden Catacombs and pass. It's so correct to just cast Ponder. It's so incredibly correct to just cast Ponder. All right. We're for the people. There's a Prodigy. In for 2. Don't Bowmaster me. I'm trying to set up a thing. Oh. Oh, it's Abrupt Decay. Wild. I guess that makes this a 3-3. Did my opponent take more damage by making that decision? Was I attacking for 2 and then they made it 3 instead? I think that just happened. So I was expecting Show and Tell, and then Abrupt Decay happened. Abrupt Decay is not a played Legacy card right now. So we might be in like the bug control Peru territory. Resolves. Are you playing Nick Fit? Are you a goddamn hero playing Nick Fit? Cabal Therapy hits. Misty Rainforest fetches. Bug. Green Sun. Hero. Absolute legend. 1 card remaining in hand. It may or may not be correct to just do that immediately, because I am going to get good value off of this. I'll get 1 of each. Thraben Charm. You damn right. Opponent ponders. So now, for the first time, we line up Harmonic Prodigy with another card. Otter? Otter is okay. It doesn't have Harmonic Prodigy synergies. I'm going to say no to that. Another DRC. In. Play a 3-3. Turn dude sideways. Opponent to 7. Facing down 7. Don't Pernicious Deed me. Alright. GG. In case you're not familiar with the overall strategy of Nick Fit, since it doesn't come up much on the channel, the deck wants to get extra basic lands into play and then play overcosted cards relatively consistently. So Nick Fit is a deck where like 5 to 7 mana cards become playable. I don't imagine that I have much in my sideboard for this deck. I will probably Grafdigger's Cage to make Green Sun and similar effects worse. I think that's about all I've got, unless I see that Pyroclasm is going to be specifically good. But a lot of times, Nick Fit plays crazy big dumb cards, and Pyroclasm might not be enough. Boomerang Basics is a way to bounce silly things out of play. Lightning Bolt kills some stuff. Lightning Bolt goes to face in a relevant way. My opponent will give me basic lands. It becomes a little easier to cast Harmonic Prodigy. I still think I'm trimming 2 of those. But we did double some triggers with it. So, scoreboard. This is fine. Ball Therapy resolves. Brainstorm is often the first generic name there. Opponent goes for Slickshot and does hit, though. I will make an Otter. I think I care enough about finding my next land drop that I'm going to go ahead and put this in play. And despite the Cabal Therapy in Graveyard, I think I am just going to redraw. Alright. Allurin is the nonsense that my opponent is running at the top end. There's some tension here between wanting to not draw the card for Cabal Therapy and wanting to draw the card to do things like hit land drops. And like saving the bobble for prowess damage is reasonable as well. We bounce. We're bouncing on it. That's what that phrase means, right? It's talking about replaying your Stormchaser's talent. No? Not? Weird. Alright. Prowess trigger. More other Otter. Play Thundering Falls. Misty is kind of whatever. I'm going to say no to that. Get in there, Otter, bro. 16. Pass. The reason that I'm saying no to Misty is that I'm expecting to daze this turn a decent portion of the time, in which case I can't Slickshot Show-Off and Ponder at the same time. Brainstorm is fine. Got Abrupt Decay to think about, which I guess only takes out 1 of the 2 Otters. That's not the end of the world. It's something crazier like Plague Engineer killing both Otters at the same time that would be a major pain in the butt. We've got white mana with Savannah, and we've seen every color except red now. Arctic Merfolk. That is just straight up something that is going to block an Otter. Yep, that's fine. Clears the Dazes. Multiple, unfortunately. All. Never didn't have it. Slickshot Show-Off. In for 3. Opponent to 11. Burrow. That's a nuisance. So if I cast Ponder on my turn, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. I gotta let Uro go. No further lands. Opponent's got gas. Really wanted to draw a blue card. Oh well, that's not what happened. In for 4. Keep the thing that lets me counter Allurin if my opponent hits the land drop. Otherwise, a Ponder is lethal next turn. They have 4 damage, plus 4, 5, 6 on cast. Exexies. Not enough lands for Uro, not enough stuff in graveyard for Uro. That can change. Yeah, not going after that. I just want anything that triggers Prowess next turn, so that I have theoretical lethal while still having Force of Will up. Yeah, that'll do. Prowess triggers 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is Exaxes. I can't cast this. If my opponent casts an Abrupt Decay on Slickshot Show-Off and I Force of Will, I get another 4 damage out of that. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's still lethal. So in we go. Bowmasters, we will counter. And then that should easily do it. We got the expletive from the opponent in chat. And kind of against the odds here, we had a 4-1 finish in this league, which I really wasn't expecting in looking at the deck list. It also was a relatively fast league for what it was. GG's. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Overall thoughts on Michael's deck list. Way better than I expected, honestly. It felt like during gameplay that the deck had problems. I did not have the wastelands that I needed for like the Urza's Sagas and the large mana deck. I felt like my endgame wasn't the greatest. I felt like Harmonic Prodigy was kind of slow and clunky. Scoreboard shows that the deck was fine. As it turns out, Brainstorm, Ponder, Force of Will, Daze are silly Magic the Gathering cards, and even if you're doing something slightly suboptimal with them, it doesn't matter all that much. The Lotus Petals were kind of a blessing and a curse in that sometimes they made the prolonged game very bad, but as we saw in that last turn, being something that triggers Prowess is a very, very big deal. If I were to play this again, I honestly would cut the Harmonic Prodigies and just find more Prowess things to put into the deck. Like, I'd play the fourth Stormchaser's talent and even consider something like Monastery Swiftspear that just comes down very, very quickly. I think just playing cards that are good on their own is going to be better in this shell than trying to do something synergistic. At the end of the day, though, like, if you play a handful of leagues with this, would you find that these cards are better than just playing the Murktide Regents and the Quarry Steelcutters that make up the established version of the deck? That is kind of the question that I would kind of end this video on, because Stormchaser's talent is a powerful Magic the Gathering card. So is Boomerang Basics. Are you getting enough out of the other cards in the deck that it is worth just not jamming the most powerful things that the Legacy card pool has to offer? You know, is your Lotus Petal deck going to be better if you just do Quarry Steelcutter that also benefits from Lotus Petal? Those are the sorts of questions that I would be thinking about. But I was pleasantly surprised by this one. Sometimes I look at a deck and I go, I don't know about this one, Chief. And Michael, honestly, your deck was good and I enjoyed playing it. These were fast, relatively consistent games. GG's, and I'm going to call it a day there. I've got some pathfindering to do. I hope you all enjoyed and have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya!